We live in Samoa. Where is Samoa? Samoa is a group of islands in the Pacific Ocean. The islands of Samoa are divided.
A brave new world in Samoa.
American Samoa, which is an American territory.
And a system of education to go with it.
Okay, give me a shout out.
For the first time, television is being used not as a supplement, but as the principal means of instruction.
Samoa is south of the equator. These are small...
Before television was introduced, the low level of Samoan education symbolized America's lack of concern for the islands. In one-room schoolhouses, children were struggling to learn English from teachers who could barely speak it themselves. Learning could not go far without English, since there are relatively few books in Samoan. It was primitive education for a simple society, and some observers thought it best to leave them alone. A complete rebuilding of the school system involved risks. Children might move ahead too swiftly, soon to be out of touch with less educated parents. Stateside educators might unknowingly introduce their own foreign values, such as individual initiative, to Samoan children. The cultural gap has been offset by the fact that Samoans here are, after all, Americans and deeply patriotic. Roy Cobb, Director of Education.
Governor Lee, when he came here, felt that he had a mission, a job to help the American Samoans move as rapidly as possible. And he felt that in order to do that, that the core of this must be education. What was thought of and planned was primarily for the American Samoan. This was a local situation. But it had implications from the very beginning for all of the developing world. If this could be done successfully here in the tropics, in an area that was several land masses with distance, then it had possibilities for other areas where a second language was important.
English as a second language is essential to gain access to the world's knowledge, technical or otherwise. One feature of the educational television system is that the outsiders can eventually leave and the native people can run it themselves. The system is by far the most complete in any of the world's underdeveloped areas. Assistant Director of Education, Bill Dale.
Our present population is school population is approximately 8,000, but it could just as easily serve 80,000 or 8 million. The use of technology allowed us to break a vicious cycle that most of the emerging countries face, and that is poorly educated teachers doing a poor job in the classroom, producing poor students who are not adequately prepared, who then go on to become teachers, and so on and so on. With the use of television and a handful of highly specialized teachers, we can break this cycle because we can dramatically improve the quality of instruction for the present generation of school children and at the same time carry on an intensive in-service teacher training program to improve the skills and knowledge of the indigenous classroom teachers.
What is this book? Say, that book's black and white.
That book's black and white.
What's this?
That's his book.
The word hemi here is a Greek word meaning half.
In the first, I was not with this television system. I didn't like it. I thought, how can a TV set or a machine like that teach the students? Right now, I can agree to it. It has some tremendous result. It's helping the Samoan student to speak the English very well.
A little at some of the things that we learned in other years.
It depends on the classroom teacher.
And when we look at our model of the Earth now, we know that it's a sphere. Some of the success of the system thus far might be traced to the way Samoan children grow up. Taught to respect authority very early, they do as they are told, pay attention to television and the teacher, and are learning English far more rapidly than ever before. But this very attitude of acceptance may stand in the way of independent thinking. This Western goal of education is alien to a culture that expects children to be obedient, to serve, not to question one's elders. Working together for the benefit of the family or the village is a Samoan custom that has been helpful to the school. But not all Samoan customs are in harmony with the recent changes. Under the surface, ways. A graduate of the University of Hawaii, High Chief Fui Mo'ono.
The influence from the outside world and people who try to introduce this believe that this is the good change for us. They want us to change from our way of living to the better, but to me, I don't believe in it. I still believe that as long as I'm a Samoan, I should live like a Samoan.
The serving of kava, a drink for chiefs, a ceremony dramatizing rank and prestige. High Chief Fui Mo'ono feels the threat of foreign ideas to the structure of Samoan society. At the apex of the society are the chiefs, the matai. High rank is based on family connections, ability, and selection by other chiefs. The matai look after and are served by their families. Acts of vast hospitality guarantee the position of a high chief. The more people who enjoy your generosity, the greater your prestige in the community. Chief Fui Mo'ono's feast is to celebrate his being selected as a district governor. The family takes pride in serving the chief. If the chief meets with good fortune, the family will share in it. The type of gift, its size, the manner in which it is presented, all symbolize the importance of the man who gives as well as the one who receives. The system of chiefs acting in behalf of families continues to provide order in Samoan life. Just as within a Samoan family, each person knows his place and feels secure, a chief in any meeting knows exactly where he stands in relation to other chiefs, always yielding to those of higher rank. In this spirit, most leaders tend to accept United States leadership for the island.
I am indeed happy to be with you here today, not only because this is the first Western District meeting under High Chief Fuimono, but also because every event like this.
There are few questioners. District Governor Fuimono is one of them.
I would like us to be independent, complete from the United States. I want the United States to be aware that they treat us very, very fine from the very beginning, but still they are holding the complete control of the whole island here. And this is what I don't like. We want to do our business the way we want it. A lot of outside customs and many new ideas from not only from American but from other parts of the world are bringing into the island that's influence our Samoan customs. They think they are trying to influence for the better, but I don't think so.
The way that my talking chief comment on this point
that is the outside influence on our way of living, like eating, well, teaching students in school to eat American way. I don't believe in it myself, because when they come to school they eat like palangi, like Americans. When they go home they eat Samoa, and I don't think it's right. They will not continue eating the same way like the American teaching in school. When they come home, they eat Samoa. The way we eat with fingers it's our way of eating. We have to clean our hands before we eat, and that's the way we were taught to eat. And I don't want to take in any other foreign way of eating.
Talking Chief Mornano had said that the thing is worrying him and many other parents watching TV is this type of picture that have shown through the television, Western and all these murder cases, and the parents are worried about that type of movie.
I find out that the people of American Samoa, also people of our village, they really like the cowboy picture and all those Western movies.
$5,000, you risk getting yourself killed. Maybe I ought to make you pay for the chance you took, huh? Why shoot him? Why not? He deserves it. Maybe. Where does it end? Well, if he got his hands on one of those guns, he would have killed me. But he's not you.
When somebody in the picture mentioned a word like kill, and then they saw the man kill somebody, and they learn English from that. Our people and all the youth of our village, they really like to see those kind, because it's new to our people. They haven't seen that before.
I think if you had gone around and asked all the Samoans whether they changed because the change was forced upon them, or whether they changed because they wanted to change, I think the latter would have been their answer. It used to be a good old life, but along with it there were many, many difficulties. And then came the white man, and the Samoans saw that in many ways the white man's way of doing things was easy, was simple, and he just adapted them.
Perhaps a far greater westernizing influence than anything learned in school is the fact that Samoa is now on an international air route. For a once isolated people, Samoans are going places, often to the States, where there are no obstacles to a visit or a permanent stay.
Welcome to American Samoa.
As visitors arrive, the possibility opens up for a measure of financial independence from the United States. Official policy in Samoa has aimed at preventing exploitation of the islands at the expense of the people. One long-standing safeguard bars non-Samoans from buying land here. And a recent development is Samoan stock ownership in the new hotel.
First up, ladies and gentlemen, is...
Still, there are problems in maintaining Samoan dignity and pride in the face of new pressures.
Samoan. We have gone to great pains to make sure that you get everything purely Samoan in Samoa.
My special guest is Mr. Joe Bona, who I'm sure some of you know, who certainly knows
Joe Bona, a tour director in Pango Pango, talks to school children.
Hi, Joe.
How do you do, Don? Glad to be here. I think everyone realizes that the policy of the government over here is to make tourists or tourism the most important and the number one industry on this island.
I want my wife to be with a handsome man once in her life.
All right, I'm next. Andy. Now, it's over here for this one. Come on. That's better. Oh, yeah, but...
I think if the people here have their big, wide smiles all the time, give it up, and I think people will like to come here. I think this would make the tourist sort of have the feeling that he's one of us, that he'd like to stay with us, and most important of all, to spend his money here. Because without his money, I wouldn't be in a job, and a lot of others wouldn't be in a job. I'd say that's number one requirement is keep your smiles. In other words, for instance, the school children, keep smiling because it does get you somewhere, particularly with tourists. It brings them over here, it gets them to stay here a little longer. The student can be very helpful there to make the tourist feel welcome. That is, when the visitor asks the questions, the children should be ready, and when they answer their questions, they shouldn't answer with a big frown, This makes things not too good. They should answer with a smile, as the Polynesian are famous for. A Polynesian person is famous for being happy,
and I think this is what we should always give to our visitors.
Are there any openings for people in the tourist industry?
Definitely done. There's big openings in the tourist industry for any person really that's interested.
Chief Joe Sunia is Director of Tourism.
When you speak about tourism, it's almost synonymous with a dollar sign. And you talk to anybody anywhere in the world, and tourism means dollars right away. We realize this, and we're trying to do our best to educate our people so that while they are benefiting dollar-wise, they're not losing too much too fast of the real things that are of greatest value to the Samoan people.
I don't care about tourism, I care about my land and my people.
High Chief Fui Maono, along with being district governor, works for an American-owned fish cannery. He believes that the United States could better help the Samoans by financing a new fishing industry in which the Samoans would be the fishermen. The fleets presently doing this work come from nationalist China, Korea, and Japan. Chief Fui Maono reasons that if the modern Samoan can be trained to repair television equipment, he can certainly be trained for deep water fishing.
The number one resources here on the island is the water. We get tons and tons of fish there waiting for us. And this is the only way we can be independent.
Samoans are being encouraged to do more fishing for local consumption close to their shores in a government program opposed by Chief Fui Maono.
For the benefit of your program, I would like to recommend very strongly to spend most of your time on deep water fishing. This is the future of this island. The only two places that we can go to for the future natural resource of this island is the land and the sea. There is nothing here. We don't have nothing here.
Let me add something there, District Governor. When the canneries first opened their doors for business, we thought that the Samoan people, the Samoan young men, would go to sea in ships and bring in the tuna that was necessary for the canneries. We tried everything possible to get the Samoans to go out to do this deep line fishing, which is necessary to get the fish in this area. Now, it was obvious that the Samoans wanted nothing to do with going to sea for 30 or 45 or 60 days. They wanted to be home at night. So this is exactly the reason that the Koreans, South Koreans, the Chinese, and the Japanese have such a foothold in our industry here in the territory.
I don't agree with you on the ground that you said that people don't like to go fish for a long time. Someone have been going out fishing for a month on a rowboat. I mean, on 30 days on a rowboat. So you have to get the right kind of people, and they can be trained and to be a line fisherman, and they will bring in fishing that will help the economy of the island here.
Now, we all know the stages of growth. We know that a child must learn to crawl before it can walk. A child must learn to walk before it can run. Meaning no disrespect, I would like to compare the Samoan fishing industry at present to the child that is crawling. To do the type of deep water fishing you're talking about requires an economy somewhat more advanced than the one that we have now. It is going to require larger boats. it is going to require more capital to invest. So therefore I say, before we go into this, why don't we first develop the nearshore resources to the point where they can meet the demands of the public?
I blame the people the United States sent down here. And they said that we should start as a baby. We should start out to walk and finally we build ourselves to a mature person. That is stupid. If the child will not allow to start doing things that she can do, that child will remain baby. The other parents, they don't want their child to climb at this age. She might break their necks. And I think this is a wrong attitude. People said it's late. It's kind of late to start on our own, but never too late to start any wise move. Like we should develop our own selves to a point that in the near future we'll be supporting our own selves.
Chief Fuima'ono, whether or not his idea is feasible, he speaks for many the world over who want help so they can help themselves. But he is a lone voice here on islands that are in the main untroubled. For Westernization has seemed to make life better without too much sacrifice of Samoan customs. There are more choices, if not more genuine and lasting satisfactions. For the present, the Samoan chooses easily. Something old, something new. Balancing with typical Polynesian poise between two worlds.
I don't think you can say that something is lost here. I think you should say that something is given up in return for something else. In other words, I don't want it to be said that the Samoan has lost something and gained nothing in return. The question now is how fast and how well we can adapt the Samoan to be able to keep up with the pace.
With education, the horizon will grow wider, choices will become more varied, and eventually, children will begin to question. Then, for better or worse, Samoa will be part of the mainstream of the 20th century, and lost forever will be the paradise that was, or may have been.
This is NET, the National Educational Television Network.